Most people think their dog loves them, and they're probably right. But sometimes a dog goes beyond love and forms something deeper, something instinctive, something that scientists call imprinting. If your dog follows you everywhere, if he lays in your dirty laundry when you're gone, if he stares into your eyes like he's trying to understand your soul, you might be more than just his favorite person. You might be his person, the one he's chosen, the one he's anchored to. Today we'll uncover 14 quiet but powerful signs that your dog has imprinted on you. These signs go beyond the typical "he loves belly rubs" behavior. We're talking about subconscious bonding, emotional mirroring, protective instinct, and even hormonal synchrony. These signs come from his world, not yours. But if you know how to see them, they'll show you just how deeply connected you really are. And if you're a man who's ever whispered secrets to a dog, because no one else would understand, this video is for you. Let's begin. Not with what imprinting looks like, but where it comes from. Because once you recognize the very first sign, you may never see your dog the same way again. Sign 1. He lays in your dirty laundry. It might look silly at first coming home to find your dog curled up in a pile of your used shirts or socks. Maybe you laugh, maybe you scold him gently. But to your dog, that pile isn't dirty. It's sacred. Because your scent is you. It's comfort. It's home. And when you're gone, that smell is the closest thing he has to your presence. Dogs are scent-driven creatures. But this goes beyond instinct. Research shows that when dogs are separated from their humans, they often seek items with the strongest scent, like worn clothes, to reduce anxiety. It's how they self-soothe, but it's also how they stay connected. By choosing your laundry, your dog is saying, "You may be gone, but I'm still with you." And there's more. When he presses into your clothes, he's not just surrounding himself with your scent. He's mixing his scent with yours. Dogs mark their territory by blending smells. Laying in your laundry is his quiet way of saying, "We belong together." So the next time you find him curled up in your shirts, don't rush to move him. That's not a mess, it's a message. But scent is just the beginning. The next sign goes even deeper. It's about sight, and a gaze that speaks louder than any bark. Sign 2. He stares into your eyes without fear. Some moments catch you off guard. You're sitting quietly, maybe watching TV or sipping coffee, and suddenly you notice it. He's watching you. Not just glancing. Watching. His eyes locked on yours. Calm. Still. Steady. In the dog world, eye contact is complicated. Among dogs, staring can be a threat, a challenge for dominance. But when your dog gazes at you softly, without tension, without fear, he's doing something rare. He's breaking an instinct for you. Why? Because in that moment, he's not just seeing you. He's trusting you. Deeply. A groundbreaking study published in Science showed that mutual eye contact between dogs and their humans boosts oxytocin levels in both. That's the same hormone that bonds mothers to babies. The longer the gaze, the stronger the bond. It's not affection, it's attachment. Chemical, biological, undeniable. And if your dog looks at you this way, especially when you're not speaking, not commanding, just being, it means he feels safe enough to connect on the deepest level. So the next time you catch his eyes on you, don't look away. Meet him there. It's his way of saying, "You are my world." But eye contact isn't the only thing he's mirroring. The next sign is even more subtle, and it shows just how deeply your feelings affect his. Sign 3. He mirrors your emotions. Have you ever noticed your dog seems to change when you do? On days you're upbeat and moving around, he's right there beside you, tail wagging ready for anything. But when you're quiet, distant, maybe a little off, He doesn't pester or play. He just sits nearby, watching, matching. That's not your imagination. Dogs are emotional mirrors. Science backs it up. A study from Linköping University found that long-term stress levels in dogs and their owners tend to synchronize over time. The same way couples can start finishing each other's sentences, dogs and humans begin syncing biologically. Your cortisol spikes, so does his. You worry, he paces. You smile, and he softens. This kind of connection isn't automatic. It happens when a dog has fully bonded with you. He's not just watching. He's learning you, adapting to you, feeling what you feel. Some call it empathy. Some call it imprinting. Whatever the term it means, he's emotionally tuned to your frequency. So if your dog always seems to know your mood, even before you say a word, it's not a coincidence. It's love. The quiet, loyal kind. But there's another behavior that looks simple, yet proves just how tethered he really is. Watch where he goes when you move. Because some dogs don't just follow, they shadow. Sign 4. He follows you everywhere you go. You get up to grab a drink, and he follows. You move from the couch to the kitchen, and there he is right behind. You try to sneak off to the bathroom, and somehow he's already there waiting by the door. Some might joke, he's got separation anxiety. But if your dog follows you from room to room with calm eyes and quiet steps, it's not panic, it's connection. In a dog's mind, you're not just the food giver. You're his anchor, his compass, the safest place in the world. And when he trails behind you, it's not because he's bored. It's because he simply wants to stay close, just in case you need him, or just in case he needs you. This kind of gentle following without whining or barking is often a sign of imprinting. He's made you his home base. In unfamiliar places, you're his point of orientation. In quiet moments, you're his comfort zone. Some call it clingy. But if you ask him, it's devotion, pure and simple. So the next time those soft paws follow your every step, know this: he's not being needy. He's being near. But not all nearness happens in motion. Sometimes the deepest connection shows up when you rest, because where he chooses to sleep says everything. Sign 5. He sleeps pressed against you. It might seem like a matter of comfort, a warm bed, a soft blanket. But when your dog chooses to sleep curled into your back or pressed against your side, it's not just about softness, it's about safety. In the wild, dogs sleep in tight packs. The closer they are to one another, the safer they feel. When your dog snuggles beside you at night, he's doing what his ancestors did, staying close to the ones he trusts with his life. And he's not just choosing a comfy spot. He's choosing you. With his body relaxed, breath slow, and heart unguarded, he's saying, "Here with you I can rest." What's more, your scent and warmth help regulate his stress levels. Studies show that sleeping beside someone familiar can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and raise oxytocin, the one tied to bonding. So when your dog nudges into your space, even stealing a little pillow room, he's not just being cute. He's returning to the safest place he knows. And if he always sleeps facing the door, he's not just snoozing, he's watching, guarding, for you. But trust isn't always shared equally. The next sign reveals something powerful when your dog chooses you over everyone else. Sign 6. He only listens to you, not others. You've seen it. Maybe your spouse calls him, and he ignores it. A friend offers a treat, but he doesn't budge. Yet the moment you speak, he turns. Instantly. Eyes on you. Ears up. Waiting. That's not disobedience. That's loyalty. That's hierarchy. That's imprinting. Dogs, much like wolves, operate on social structure. And in your dog's eyes, someone has to lead. If he responds only to your voice, your gestures, your tone, it's because he's chosen you as his anchor, his guide, his alpha. This isn't about dominance, it's about trust. Dogs obey who they feel safe with, who trains with consistency, who rewards with patience, who speaks in a language they understand: body language, energy, repetition. And that special connection builds over time quietly. Not with commands, but with clarity, with presence, with heart. So if your dog listens to you in a crowded room, ignores others when you're near, and always waits for your signal before acting, that's not just a bond. That's recognition. He sees you. He hears you. He follows you. But what happens when you're not even home? The next sign reveals a loyalty so deep, it waits in silence and watches the door. Sign 7. He waits by the door when you're gone. You're not even home to see it, but maybe someone tells you. Or you notice the signs: a warm spot by the door, scratches near the frame, or those quiet eyes watching as you put on your shoes. And when you come back, he's there. Tail wagging, not wildly, but like he's been holding something in, like he's been waiting. For you. This kind of waiting isn't about time, it's about connection. When your dog waits by the door, it's not just routine, it's reverence. You left, and he chose to stay right there. Not because he couldn't go somewhere else, but because you were the one worth waiting for. Dogs with strong bonds often develop time-linked rituals. They learn the sounds of your return, the rhythm of your absence. But dogs who've imprinted, they don't just notice. They feel the absence. It sits in their chest, like it sits in yours. So if your dog curls up by the front door, not barking, not pacing, just waiting, know this: that's not anxiety. That's faith. But imprinting isn't only about absence. Sometimes it's what he brings to you that says it all, especially when you're hurting. Sign 8. He brings you his favorite toy. When you're sad, it's a small gesture. Maybe you're sitting there, head in your hands, lost in thought. You haven't said a word. And then thud. A worn-out stuffed animal, a soggy tennis ball, placed gently by your feet. He doesn't bark. He doesn't jump. He just drops it and waits. You might think he wants to play. But in moments when your body is still, your energy is low, and your face is drawn, he's not trying to have fun. He's trying to help. Dogs don't understand sadness the way we do, but they read energy. They smell stress, and they know when something's not right. So what do? They bring you their comfort. That favorite toy, the one he chews every night before bed, is more than just a distraction. It's his source of calm, his safety object. And when he gives it to you, he's offering what soothes him. Because if it works for him, maybe it'll help you too. It's a silent kind of compassion. No words, no fixes, just presence, just love. But what's even more remarkable? Sometimes he doesn't need to do anything at all. The next sign shows how deeply he reads you before you say a single word. Sign 9. He senses your stress before you speak. You haven't said a word. No sigh. No tears. Just that stillness. Tight shoulders, a shift in your breathing. Maybe a longer pause before you move. And somehow, he knows. Before you even understand what you're feeling, he's already watching you. Quiet. Alert. Sometimes he lays his head in your lap. Other times, he just sits near, close enough to touch, but not demanding. Like he's saying, "I'm here if you need me." This isn't just emotional intuition. It's biology. Research shows that dogs can detect subtle changes in our scent, especially the rise of cortisol, the stress hormone. They can read facial expressions, posture, and energy shifts that most humans miss. And if your dog reacts this way often, especially when you're hiding how you feel, it means he's not just watching your body, he's listening with his whole being. It's empathy without words, support without asking, loyalty without condition. So the next time he comes near during your quietest pain, know this: it's not coincidence, it's connection. You don't have to explain. He already understands. But not every act of love is obvious. The next sign is quiet, gentle, so soft it might go unnoticed, but it means more than you think. Sign 10. He nudges or touches you gently in silence. It's the quiet moments that speak the loudest. You're sitting in your favorite chair, maybe lost in a memory, maybe just tired from the weight of the day. And then without a sound, he nudges your arm, presses his head against your leg, or leans in just enough to say, "I see you." No barking, no whining, no demand for food or play, just presence, a touch, a signal that he's there, and he notices. Dogs are physical communicators, but when they initiate contact gently, and especially when you're not calling for it, it's more than habit. It's emotional intelligence. He's reaching out not for attention, but to offer comfort, a grounding gesture, a check-in. This kind of silent touch often appears in deeply bonded dogs, those who've lived through your storms and learned your rhythms. He knows when to be still, when to come close, and when to simply be. You don't have to speak. You don't have to pretend. His touch says, "I'm not going anywhere." And when you're out in the world surrounded by noise or newness, he still finds a way to stay connected. Because the next sign shows what he does not at home, but out there when you need him most. Sign 11, he checks in with you in new places. You've seen it before. You're walking through a park, maybe visiting a friend's house, or even just stepping into a vet's office. He wanders a little, sniffing, exploring, but then he turns, looks back, finds your eyes, just for a second. That glance, it's not random. It's a check-in, a question without words. Are you still there? Are we okay? In unfamiliar environments, dogs seek reassurance, but not all dogs check in the same way. When a dog has truly imprinted on you, he doesn't need a leash to know where safety lives. He orbits you, moves forward, then circles back. Not because he's nervous, but because you're his anchor, his base. It's the canine version of, "I trust this because I trust you." And here's the remarkable part: if you respond even with a nod or soft word, that behavior strengthens. It becomes a pattern, a quiet loop of attention and response. That's how trust deepens. So the next time he glances back in a strange place, meet his eyes. Let him know you're there. That loop you share. It's not just habit. It's history. But sometimes that history starts the moment you meet. The next sign isn't just about bonding. It's about destiny. Sign 12. He chose you at the shelter and never left your side. Some moments never leave you. The day you walked past all those kennels, maybe not even planning to bring anyone home. But then, him. He looked up. You locked eyes. And somehow, you just knew. He didn't bark. He didn't beg. He just watched you like he'd been waiting. People say we choose our dogs, but sometimes it's the other way around. If your dog came into your life that way, calm, immediate, and unwavering, and stayed close ever since, there's a reason it feels like fate. Dogs that imprint early, especially those from shelters or rescues, often form bonds faster and deeper. For them, love isn't casual, it's survival. And when he picked you, he wasn't looking for a home. He was looking for his person. That bond forged in a quiet moment doesn't fade. It settles deep, into routine, into memory, into meaning. And if years later, he still follows you like a shadow still sleeps at your feet, still watches your every move. That moment in the shelter wasn't just the beginning, it was a promise. But loyalty isn't just about presence. The next sign shows what he does, when you don't see it when you're asleep, and he stands guard. Sign 13. He guards the space when you sleep or rest. You may not notice it right away. You drift off on the couch, or settle into bed, and he finds his place not just near you, but in a specific spot. By the door. Facing the hallway. Ears relaxed but alert. He's not trying to be close this time. He's trying to protect. Dogs have ancient instincts. In a pack, one or two always stay watch while the others sleep. It's a silent agreement. You rest. I've got this. When your dog lies between you and the doorway, or positions himself at the foot of the bed, facing out, he's doing what his ancestors did. But now he's not protecting a pack. He's protecting you. He may not growl or bark. He doesn't need to. Just his presence there, steady and calm, is enough to say, you're safe. I'm watching. And what's most moving, he's not doing this because you asked. He does it because he wants to. Because in his mind, keeping you safe is part of who he is. But this bond doesn't only show when danger is near. The final sign goes even deeper when your emotions change, so do his, like you share a single nervous system. Sign 14. He stays calm when you're calm, and anxious when you are. He doesn't need to hear thunder. He doesn't need to see a stranger at the door. Sometimes all it takes is you getting tense for him to change. Maybe your breathing shortens. Maybe your shoulders lift just a little. And suddenly, he's pacing. Or he won't settle. He watches you alert, as if bracing for something he can't name, but can feel. And on the flip side, when you're calm, he melts. He stretches out beside you, his body loose, his eyes soft. Like your peace flows right into him. That's not just sensitivity. It's synchronization. In fact, a recent study showed that long-term stress levels between dogs and their owners tend to mirror each other. Over time, your body literally teaches his how to feel. And when a dog has truly imprinted, his emotional rhythm shifts with yours. So if your dog's mood seems to change with yours, not just in response, but almost in anticipation, that's not coincidence. That's connection at the deepest level. That's imprinting. Because when he looks to you to decide how to feel, that's not just love. That's trust. That's belonging. And now that you've seen all 14 signs, you might realize this bond runs far deeper than you ever thought. But what does it all mean? Can it change? Can it fade or grow even stronger? Let's take a final moment to reflect. You started this video wondering if your dog might love you a little more than most. And now, maybe you see it differently. Maybe you've recognized the quiet moments, the glances, the stillness, the routines, not as coincidence, but as signs. Deep, subtle, powerful signs. Imprinting isn't loud. It doesn't bark. It doesn't jump up and down. It whispers, in soft paws that follow you from room to room, in a head resting quietly on your lap when words won't come, in a toy placed at your feet when sadness hangs in the air. These 14 signs aren't just behaviors. They're proof of a bond formed through trust time and something more instinctive, something that goes beyond training or affection. They're signals that your dog hasn't just bonded with you. He's chosen you. And if you've ever looked into his eyes and felt like he saw something in you, something no one else did, you were right. Because dogs don't imprint on just anyone. They imprint on the one who gave them safety, attention, presence, and love without condition. So tonight when he curls up near you, or checks to see if you're okay, or simply follows your quiet footsteps around the house, smile. Because you're not just his owner. You're his person, his constant, his home? Which sign felt the most true for you? Which moment reminded you of your dog? I'd love to hear your story, so leave a comment and tell us. Your experience might help someone else understand their own bond a little better. And if this video helped you see your dog with new eyes, stay with us, because in the next video, we're exploring something even more important: the 12 ways we may be breaking our dog's heart without even realizing it. You've seen how he loves. Now, let's make sure we never hurt that love.